Have you ever wondered what really goes on inside the mind of a truly dangerous person? Well, after 4 decades of experience, former FBI profiler Candice DeLong is convinced there's a specific personality type, one so completely self-absorbed it can actually become deadly. Okay, let's get into this. This quote from DeLong herself, wow, it just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? We're talking about a level of self-obsession that's, well, it's off the charts. It's a world where everyone and everything else is just a prop for one person's ego. And that's really the core idea we're going to unpack today. This goes way beyond simple arrogance or vanity. We're talking about a personality structure that, when it gets pushed, can lead to some truly dark places: manipulation, violence, and, yep, even murder. So, let's deconstruct this deadly type. Here's how we're going to do it. We'll break it down into 4 parts. First, we'll look at their incredible use of deception. Then, we'll get into their absolute iron-fisted need for control. After that, we'll uncover the terrifying rage that's always bubbling just under the surface. And finally, we'll pull it all together so you know the warning signs. All right, first up, the mask of deception. See, for this kind of narcissist, reality isn't a fixed thing. It's totally optional. They live inside a world they've built for themselves, brick by brick, with lies, all designed to control everyone around them. What we're really talking about here is pathological lying. And this isn't just, telling a little fib to get out of trouble. For the narcissist, lying is as natural as breathing. It's how they build this fortress around their super fragile ego and, more importantly, how they bend other people to their will.
Okay, so let's look at a real-world example. Meet Tasha Fields. Her boyfriend, Dwayne, starts noticing something weird. Mail is coming to the house addressed to all these different Tashas. Turns out, she'd already been married 5 times by the age of 31. And the lies just keep coming. A fake criminal justice degree, a made-up story about her grandfather being a judge, and, this is the most shocking part, she'd completely hidden the fact that she had 2 children that she just abandoned.
And here's where you see how these lies escalate into something truly terrifying. Tasha's little fabrications went from building a false identity to actually creating a motive for murder. She weaponized this horrible, completely false accusation to convince her new husband to kill her ex, all because she was trying to win a custody battle.
And this quote from the trial, it's just brutal, but it shows you everything you need to know. There's a complete void where empathy is supposed to be. As her ex-husband is literally dying on the floor, reaching out to her, her only response is pure contempt. The mask didn't just slip, it was completely gone.
So that leads us right into our second trait, the need for control. Because when the facts of the real world don't line up with the narcissist's perfect self-image, they don't change their view of themselves. Nope, they just invent a whole new set of facts.
Which brings us to a guy named Danny Pelosi. Now, Danny is in prison for the brutal murder of Ted Ammon, who was the very wealthy husband of the woman Danny was having an affair with. But if you ask Danny, oh no, he's the victim of a huge conspiracy, and he'll tell you he has all the proof he needs to walk free.
Just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got Danny's reality. A murder caught on a security camera, which he somehow watched on his laptop, and it involved 3 different guns. Then, on the right, you have the actual facts from the prosecution. There was no video, the victim was tased and beaten, and that hard drive with all the evidence, yeah, he supposedly threw it in a creek. It's not just a different story, it's like a different dimension.
And this is exactly what Candice DeLong is talking about. It's the core of their delusion. They don't just tell these lies, they believe them with every fiber of their being. In their mind, the simple fact that they said it makes it true, and they absolutely expect you to believe it too.
So what happens when that mask of deception and that desperate need for control get challenged? Well, that brings us to our third and maybe most dangerous trait, the rage beneath. When a narcissist's ego gets bruised, even a little, the reaction can be absolutely explosive.
So, I want you to meet Kim Coleman. By all accounts, she was the whole package. Smart, beautiful, super popular, a homecoming queen. Her entire world was built on admiration. So when her boyfriend, Brian Spanks, started to pull away because he was sick of her jealousy, he wasn't just ending a relationship, he was threatening her entire sense of who she was.
And just look at how fast this all went down. It starts when she sees him at a bar with someone else. Just minutes later, she's causing a huge public scene, screaming at him. Then a little while later, he leaves her a voicemail making it official, "We're done."
For Kim, that was the ultimate rejection, the final insult. And her response? That very same night, she drives to his house to unleash all of that rage.
This one number tells you everything about the terrifying intensity of that rage. More than 60 stab wounds. The attack was so frenzied that the first knife actually broke, and she had to go to the kitchen to get another one. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was the complete and total annihilation of a threat to her ego.
And even after that unbelievable violence, the narcissist programming kicks right back in. She calls 911, not for help, but to create a brand new reality where she's the victim and some intruder did it. But her own lie was undone by the truth itself. Brian's last cries for help, captured forever in the background of her call.
Okay, so after going through these pretty chilling cases, what's the takeaway? How can you actually spot these dangerous traits in the real world? Let's boil it all down into a clear set of warning signs.
All right, let's put the crucial red flags from these stories all in one place. It all starts on a foundation of pathological dishonesty, the constant, unbelievable stories. You add in that extreme jealousy and a total inability to be happy for anyone else's success. It's all fueled by this bottomless pit of a need for admiration. And then, the final most dangerous piece of the puzzle, that hair-trigger rage that explodes over the tiniest little slight.
And that really leaves us with one last pretty sobering thought. You know, a healthy relationship is a two-way street, right? It's about give and take. But with the kind of personality we've just looked at, there is no give. There's only take. It is, like the source material warns, a one-way trip. So the real question is, do you know which road you're on?